Hello everybody, by now I'm sure you're all familiar with who this guy is. Those of you who don't know, his name is Xiao Chu, he is the CEO of TikTok, and he recently took a little trip to Washington DC. He's from Singapore, by the way, which by the way is not the same place as China, which Fox News seemed to get confused the other day. So last week he took himself a trip to Washington DC to appear before Congress to answer 4.5 hours of questions from congressmen and women, both Republican and Democrat. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the footage of that, as well as creators' reactions to what was said, what's going to happen, and why it's happening. If you've seen me do videos on here before, I might have talked about this. You'll know I have something of a love-hate relationship with TikTok. It's where I have the most followers and get the most views, but also the pay is crap, and their support network for creators is an abomination. And this is an American issue. This is the American government trying to ban TikTok. So you might think, why would me, a British man living in the UK, care? Why would anybody in the UK care? Well, according to this, of the 68,703 people that follow me, 69% of them live in America. Shit. That's like 40,000 people. So yeah, and that's just my account, which is quite small really in comparison to others. Some people are looking at millions lost. But even still, I don't want to lose 40,000 followers. So how's this come about? Well, the American government are saying that this is a security issue and it's to do with storing data. The data of Americans being stored and kept by a Chinese company. They don't like that. But some other people have some different views, and we're going to take a look at them now. I actually don't know who this first guy is, but it's taken from the Joe Rogan podcast, of all places. And also, I don't know, it's not dated, so I don't know when this happened, but here we go.
How long before TikTok's banned?
Well, let me tell you what's going on with TikTok. I have a very opinionated explanation for what is going on with TikTok.
Okay.
TikTok was eating Silicon Valley's lunch. They were taking all the ad money from Instagram, from Twitter, from Google. I'd say Google and Instagram and Facebook, just killing it, knocking it out of the park. So look at who is saying, oh, it's China and they're tracking everything and it's Communist Party. Dude, Facebook tracks you, Google tracks you, everyone tracks you all over the place. But all of a sudden TikTok is a problem? No, it's because they're eating their lunch, and instead of competing, because they've tried, no one can seem to create the TikTok algorithm and the thing that they have going there. It's what people want, the quick hits, the sing-alongs, etc. So they decided to lobby politicians and come up with this scam.
Fairly self-explanatory. TikTok's making a ton of money, but it's not an American company. It's not Facebook. It's not Meta. It's not Mark Zuckerberg. They don't like that. Speaking of Mark Zuckerberg, here's an interesting vid from this kid. Who is he? Dylan Page. I see him all over TikTok. Anyway.
Turns out Mark Zuckerberg has a dark past with TikTok that he doesn't want anyone knowing about right now. It's no secret that the banning of TikTok in the US would benefit Meta, but the lengths that Zuck has gone to make it happen is shocking. But before he wanted to get rid of it, he wanted to own it. In 2016, Zuckerberg was in serious talks with the founders of Musical.ly, which is now TikTok. But when the deal never happened, he tried to copy it with an app called Lasso. If you've never heard of it, it's because it failed miserably. But then when TikTok started taking off and Trump wanted to ban it in 2020, he began aggressively lobbying against TikTok in Washington. In a private dinner at the White House, he argued that China's internet firms posed a threat to American businesses and, quote, should be a bigger concern than reining in Facebook. Remember his position on China because this gets crazy. Now, after TikTok survived the first ban, the Washington Post received leaked emails confirming that Mark Zuckerberg paid a large consulting firm last year to organize a nationwide campaign with the primary goal of turning the public against TikTok. He officially entered his villain era at this point. One email read, "Dream would be to get stories with headlines like from dances to danger. How TikTok has become the most harmful social media space for kids." This was in reference to dangerous trends that supposedly started on TikTok, but after investigation turned out to have originated on Facebook. Other messages the firm was trying to push was that TikTok is the real threat, especially as a foreign-owned app that is #1 in sharing data that young teens are using. Sounds a lot like yesterday's hearing in Congress. But before he was worried about data being shared to China, he wanted to be in China. In efforts to get Facebook unbanned in the country, he learned Mandarin to give speech features, touted Chinese science fiction books to all of his followers, posted a photo of himself jogging through Tiananmen Square, and here's the wildest part, he even asked Chinese President Xi Jinping to bestow an honorary name on his then unborn daughter during a White House dinner. Fast forward to today, and all that hard work might just be paying off. And unfortunately for Mark Zuck, if anyone wants to look this stuff up, it's all public information. But the question is, if TikTok does get banned, would people go back to Meta or not?
Not. I think people would be furious if they're some people love TikTok. They'd be furious over it if this was banned. But also a couple of things that I've learned recently. Number one, TikTok is not available in China. They're always touting it as the Chinese app, and that was the whole kind of thing that they spun, was that this is a Chinese company and they're collecting your data. China's watching you. They don't even have TikTok in China. Number two, I'm pretty sure it's Instagram that's the most dangerous for kids. That seems to be the one that makes the news the most. Over here in the UK anyway, people having issues with seeing harmful content on Instagram. By harmful content, I mean sort of stuff that's like self-harm, stuff like that. Kids tend to, this is in the UK anyway, it's been in the news a couple of times over the last few years, that's the sort of content that kids are being exposed to on Instagram, which is owned by Meta, which is Facebook, which is Mark Zuckerberg. So you can kind of look at this and say, well, this just seems to be, it's the lobbyists, it's Mark Zuckerberg and Americans not making all the TikTok money. So they're going to try and get their politicians to ban it. Or you can believe that this is genuinely a security threat to America and that this company, this Chinese company, is stealing your data being, I don't know, what you had for lunch, where you are. Stuff that all the other companies steal all the time anyway. Anyway, let's take a look at some of the footage from the actual hearing.
Does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user turns on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, I may not understand the...
So if I have a TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
It will have to access the network to get connections to the internet, if that's the question.
Is it possible then that it could access other devices on that home Wi-Fi network?
Congressman, we do not do anything that is beyond any industry norms. I believe the answer to your question is no. It could be technical. Let me get back to you.
Okay, I'd appreciate it if you could answer that.
What the fuck? Does an app that requires the internet to function access Wi-Fi? It has to. Well, duh. I mean, you could use TikTok without Wi-Fi. Nothing will happen, but you could use it. Some of these comments. If I breathed, does oxygen enter my system? Does TikTok access my battery and steal my electricity? Yeah, it's that level of stupid. If I connect my phone to the internet, does my phone have access to the internet? Real clip from new South Park episode. Let's have another.
The only face data that you will get, that we collect, is when you use the filters to have, say, sunglasses on your face. We need to know where your eyes are. And
why do you need to know what the eyes are if you're not seeing if they're dilated?
Why do you need to know where the eyes are? Because otherwise the sunglasses could be on your chin.
And that data is stored on your local device and deleted after use if you use it for facial. Again, we do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users.
I find that hard to believe. It's our understanding that they're looking at the eyes. How do you determine what age they are then?
We rely on age gating as our key age assurance.
Age
gating, which is when you ask the user what age they are. We have also developed some tools where we look at their public profile to go through the videos that they post to see whether...
Well, that's creepy. Tell me more about that.
It's public. So if you post a video, you choose that video to go public.
Come on.
That's how you get people to see your video.
It baffles me. It's like, it is literally, they're looking for something bad. It is a witch hunt. And this guy, whoever the fuck he is, he was elected. People saw this guy, heard the things he said, and thought, yep, that's the one for me. You could tell he's intelligent because he's got a shirt on. It isn't creepy to view something that someone has publicly put out on the internet. Like, anybody watching this right now, I don't consider you seeing this creepy or a violation of my privacy because I've put it on the fucking internet.
And my last point is this. I want to say this to all the teenagers out
Fucking Nick Fury here.
there and TikTok influencers who think we're just old and out of touch and don't know what we're talking about.
You are, you don't.
Can you tell me right now, can you say with 100% certainty that TikTok does not use the phone's camera to determine whether the content that elicits a pupil dilation should be amplified by the algorithm? Can you tell me that?
We do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users.
So this is just the back end of the last clip of what this still doesn't make sense.
We do not.
You don't?
The only face data that you will get, that we collect, is when you use the filters to have
fed precise
on your face. We need to know where your eyes are. And
Why do you need to know what the eyes are if you're not seeing if they're dilated?
And that data is stored on your local device and deleted after use if you use it for facial.
Has TikTok at any time fed precise GPS information collected from U.S. users into algorithms? Oh, no, I'm having talk today to make inferences about users. Has TikTok at any time provided the Chinese government with either precise GSP information collected from U.S. users or inferences made from that data?
What?
That I can give you a straight and no.
Mr. Chu, does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user...
Oh my God.
Mr. Chu, as CEO of TikTok, why have you not directed your engineers to change this source code?
Congressman, thank you for the question.
Have you directed them to change the source code?
Like what we are offering and
Yes
my
or
fourth
no?
commitment?
Have you directed them to change that source code?
Congressman, if you give me a bit of time to just...
No, I don't. It's a yes or no question. Have you directed your engineers to change that source code?
I'm not sure I understand.
Why are you allowing TikTok to continue to have the capacity for censorship, and yet you claim here that you don't? Let me remind you of something. Do you realize that making false and misleading statements to Congress is a federal crime?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So have you directed your engineers to change that source code?
I am giving third-party access monitoring by experts. Congressman, you are an expert on this. You could agree with me that no other company
TikTok
does
source
this.
code is the same as Doan? What percentage?
I can get back to you on the specifics.
Mr. Chu.
It's pretty difficult to answer questions when the questions don't make any sense. And these questions don't make sense because these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. The same similar thing happened when they had Zuckerberg up there. They don't understand these things.
You know, you see behind me, if you look behind me, Mr. Cruz, you see some of the challenges that we've seen on TikTok. You know about them. You know about the milk crate. You know about the blackout challenge. You know about the NyQuil chicken challenge, the Benadryl challenge.
All these stupid fucking challenges on TikTok or any social media, they are, yes, dumb and dangerous, but the companies don't start them. The users do. That kind of stupidity is organic. It isn't people sat around a board at TikTok or at Facebook or whatever going, what challenges can we start? People start these. This is how trends start. It isn't TikTok deciding that this month this song's going to trend. It just happens. No one really knows how it happens. Maybe because they've built some AI technology to just decide for them, and they've just kind of let it go.
The Dragon's Breath liquid nitrogen trend are the challenge that promotes car theft. I want to ask you, as I understand it, there's a sister app in China, Douyin. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the pronunciation. Do they have these same things over there? Do they have these kind of challenges in China?
Congressman, I'm really glad you asked this question.
Do they, yes or no?
I'm not sure because...
Yeah, whoa, come on now. You're not sure?
I really am not sure.
Because he doesn't live in China.
And remember, you took the chair lady, she said, you got to tell the truth, okay? Do you know?
Literally talking to him like he's a fucking 5-year-old. Now you gotta tell the truth. Even if what I said made no fucking sense just now, you have to answer it correctly, even though there's no correct answer. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Whether they have these kind of challenges like this over in China. Because it's my understanding they don't.
I'm not sure because I spend my energies running TikTok.
And you don't look at any of your other competitors or look at anything similar to yours. So you don't know whether they have. They don't have this over in China.
I did.
We have it here, but they don't have it here. And that's why I'm asking you this. Why is it that TikTok consistently fails to identify and moderate these kinds of harmful videos. Why is it? Why is it that you allow this to go on? We've already heard, God bless you, from parents who are here with us, who have lost children. I submit to you, everybody up here cares about the children of this country. Tell me.
That's debatable, because you still got loads of fucking guns. This is like when America banned, what were those little sweets? The Kinder Surprise toys inside the egg, because they were considered too dangerous because children might choke on them. But still having school shootings, once a week? Bah.
Hey, tell me why.
This is a real industry challenge, and we're working
No,
very
it's not
hard.
industry. This is TikTok.
We're
talking about TikTok. We're talking about why is it that you can't control this? And although I believe in giving credit where credit's due, I want to thank you. It's my understanding that the video that threatened life of the chairwoman.
This is a video from somebody that was there.
All right, I'm back from the TikTok hearing and here to give you a rundown. For those of you who are watching on C-SPAN, yes, I was sitting directly behind Show Chu. And then a media outlet told me I probably ruined my career by sitting behind him, and I told them I don't have a career without TikTok, which is also true for the 5 million business owners on this app. And it seems worth pointing out, if Santa Claus thinks that you're on the naughty list, maybe you're not on the right side of the TikTok argument. A couple things I was able to take notes on, and then we'll just go through my tweets. Congress is not just proposing a ban on TikTok, they want the broad power to ban any app that they deem unsafe. They also want the power to amend Section 230, otherwise known as the 26 words that invented the internet. They want the ability to severely limit free speech, and they're using TikTok as the vehicle to kind of like wedge their way into that. We talked a lot about banning accounts for kids under 13, but they did not address how many families...
Hang on. Are these all the notes she made over a 4.5 hour hearing? Is that it? I thought there'd be like an essay.
accounts there are, and what would happen to them. They also did not talk about the religious communities who built their ministries on TikTok. They have online ministries that were built during the pandemic, and they are very concerned about the scattering of their flock if this app were to go down. Many pastors saying that a ban on TikTok would be the same thing as shutting down churches. Most of their questioning had to do with like their children not adhering to rules on the internet, and I don't know, maybe they were asking the government for more help to parent their and other people's kids.
Exactly.
Rep. Louise had one good question, which is how many Spanish-speaking moderators are there? That's excellent. That's something that I wish they would have let him answer. But also complained that there's a lot of medical misinformation on the app. Okay, but when medical misinformation was being taken down, Congress claimed that conservative voices were being unfairly censored with regards to pro-ivermectin and anti-vax content. Rep. Weber from Texas said that TikTok content is both communist CCP propaganda and at the very same time woke. Now, Rep. Dingle had a great question. She's from Michigan, and she said it was important to her that she knows that TikTok isn't using geo-targeting data that could be accessed by people's abusers or stalkers to cause harm. That's a good question. Another good question came from Rep. Clark, who was asking, does TikTok shadow ban or limit the reach of Black and other marginalized communities? And if they do, is that cutting those communities out of compensation opportunities? Many members of Congress wanted Show Chu to commit to the idea that he could perfectly moderate content. They were very upset about a video that had a gun in it, but then doesn't want to do anything about gun legislation in real life. Those of you asking, this is what it looked like from my point of view. Also saw Rep. Frost in the hallway. What's up, Maxwell? 2 different Congress people asked why there isn't more accurate information about abortion and how to perform an at-home abortion on TikTok. They asked why the American version of the app doesn't censor its users the way that China does. And they continue to quote the Wall Street Journal or Forbes magazine as their source of information for just about every accusation they levied at TikTok. Wall Street Journal, which is owned by the Australian billionaire Rupert Murdoch, who also owns Fox News, who's also a big supporter of Facebook. But the hands-down most unhinged part of the trial was when Congressman Pence was yelling at Show Chu, "You get paid, when do I get paid?"
I mean, TikTok has a lot of problems, like all these social media platforms. But like I said at the beginning, because it's not an American company, they don't like it. Justin Nunley, who's a pretty big TikToker, he does comedy videos and sketches, not political really in any way, but he's come out and he's got something to say about it.
I posted a video last night talking about the potential TikTok ban. And after watching the congressional committee grill the TikTok CEO for about 4 hours today, I'm going to say what I really want to say. Now, like I said last night, I never talk about politics. And the only reason why I'm comfortable talking about this is because I don't think it's a left side of the aisle or right side of the aisle type issue. It's a free speech issue which affects all of us. There very well may be security concerns with this app. But we may never know because they never would let the man answer a question. Common sense tells me that you only ask a question when you're looking to gain knowledge or understanding. It couldn't have been more clear that these congressional committee members only wanted a soundbite and TV time. And let me go ahead and say this. Those congressmen and congresswomen, they don't give a fuck about me and you. You know what they care about? Lining their pockets with lobbying money. If they did really care about the American people, you know what they'd be focusing their efforts on? The fentanyl problem in this country, the opioid epidemic in this country, sexual exploitation of children in this country,
the guns,
child trafficking in this country, school violence in this country. But you know why they ain't making that their problem? Because they ain't getting money from lobbyists to make it their problem. I said what I said, believe every word of it, stand behind every word of it. Y'all have a good night.
Boom. And good for him for saying something, because like I said, his content is not political. And I'm sure he might have pissed some people off and lost some fans or whatever. But yeah, when it comes down to this, and I guess this guy has 6 million followers on here. I'm pretty sure that this is where he blew up. So 205.9 million likes. He probably owes everything he has to TikTok right now. So you kind of got to, back your dog. Now, obviously, all of these videos I've just watched have come from TikTok. So chances are they are going to be a little bit biased towards TikTok. So let's head over to the good old British Broadcasting Corporation's news story on this particular hearing. I know that everyone loves the BBC. It's too, was it Lee said, too left for the right wingers, too right for the left wingers. But it is publicly funded and they kind of have to be impartial. TikTok CEO Xiao Zi chews Congress showdown 5 takeaways. Bruising, damaging, relentless TikTok CEO Xiao Zi Chew face 4.5 hours of questioning, Jesus Christ, at the US Congress hearing on Thursday. As one congressman pointed out, some people run marathons quicker than that. Mr. Chew will certainly be feeling it after a torrid time giving evidence. Many tech execs have stood before Congress, and they often don't get an easy ride. No, because Congress don't know anything about big tech, like how Wi-Fi works, or what Wi-Fi is, because they're fucking morons. That's the scariest part of all this. How dumb these people running that country are. But what was exceptional about this hearing was the stubborn, never-ending line of vicious questioning from both Democrats and Republicans. There was no let up, a spokesperson for TikTok said afterwards. The politicians were grandstanding. There is most certainly some truth to that, but between sometimes frustratingly verbose questioning, we did learn a thing or two. Number 1, legislators were united against TikTok. There was criticism of TikTok from Republican and Democrats, and the level of distrust and skepticism from all sides was stark. Welcome to the most bipartisan committee in Congress, said Republican Congressman Buddy Carter. Thank you, Mr. Chew, for bringing Republicans and Democrats together, said Dan Crenshaw, a Republican. It was really quite something to see so many politicians who agree on practically nothing agree wholeheartedly that TikTok was a security threat. TikTok complained afterwards that not enough time had been spent focusing on the platform's measures to keep data safe. Here's a quote from someone that was a spokesperson for TikTok. Also not mentioned today by the members of the committee, the livelihoods of the 5 million businesses on TikTok, or the First Amendment implications of banning a platform loved by the 150 million Americans. Number 2, ByteDance engineers in China have access to some US data. Mr. Chew kept talking about a Project Texas, a proposal which will see it store all data in the US under the watch of American firm Oracle. I hate some of the fucking names they come up with this bullshit. However, Project Texas is not fully operational as of now. Mr. Chew confirmed that the engineers of ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, do have access to data. We rely on global interoperability. I've not heard that one before. Chinese engineers have access to data, he said. It wasn't a mission that politicians kept coming back to. Their point was that if data can be accessed by engineers in China, it's hard to see how the Chinese government couldn't also have access. On Friday, China's foreign ministry repeated its claim that it does not ask companies to provide data or intelligence located in other countries. Believe that if you want or not. Number 3, Chew has shares in ByteDance. Perhaps Mr. Chew's least successful defense was his attempt to distance TikTok from ByteDance. By any definition, the Chinese company owns TikTok. Mr. Chew himself used to be ByteDance's chief financial officer. When initially asked, Mr. Chu didn't want to say whether he owned shares in ByteDance. Pressed by lawmakers, he eventually said he did, but tried to downplay the connection. China's government says it would oppose any US plan to force ByteDance to sell TikTok, something authorities are reportedly considering. Number 4, Chu's children do not use TikTok. Interesting. At one point in the hearing, Mr. Chu was asked by Congresswoman Nanette Barragan, I don't know, of a Democrat, whether or not his own children use TikTok. He said they didn't because they live in Singapore. In that country, the version of the app for children under 13 is not available. Mr. Chu did clarify that the children's version of the app is available in the US, and he would let his children use it if they were in America. And number 5, what about Cambridge Analytica? Mr. Chu generally pulled his punches. He didn't often take a fight back to the members of Congress, but there were rare moments where he did push back, and effectively. When quizzed on TikTok's use of user data, he said, with all due respect, American companies don't have a great track record with data. Just look at Facebook and Cambridge Analytica. Remember that? It was a barbed comment, but a reasonable point to make. Harvesting of Facebook's users' personal information by Cambridge Analytica, a British political consultancy, and over a third-party apps caused uproar when it emerged in 2018. So there we go. I've said in the past I believe TikTok has lots of issues, but so do all these platforms. And what they seem to be worrying about when it comes to, the negatives of TikTok are things that I don't believe really have that much of a fucking direct impact. People doing dumb things at trends and these challenges, that's just people being fucking idiots. There's idiots everywhere in the world, and they're all online, and they're always going to do stupid shit. Harvesting data. Give a fuck. Gives a shit. Oh, what? You know what I had for breakfast. You know where I live. There are lots of people. Got nothing to hide. They don't seem to be concerned with any of what I would consider the bigger issues, which is the type of content that is allowed to be published to TikTok that I believe is harmful. Stuff like hateful ideologies that blow up in a massive way on TikTok. Take, for example, this dickhead. How many of you wouldn't know who this guy is if it wasn't for TikTok? It is because of TikTok that he blew up, and he was never on TikTok. It was other people posting his hateful ideology, and it blew up, and he became like the biggest thing on TikTok in TikTok's history. Nobody brought that up, but also you could argue at the same time, if he hadn't become so famous, would he be set in jail right now? Because I believe one of the main reasons the Romanian authorities cracked down on him was because he was making Romania look bad. Like, really bad. He made Romania out to be like it was fucking Gotham City, but without Batman. And this blew up. The Romanian authorities was like, he's kind of making us look like a bunch of dickheads. Let's investigate. So if it wasn't for TikTok, he wouldn't have become famous. But also if it wasn't for TikTok and him becoming famous, he wouldn't have become notorious and given the game away and got himself landed in jail right now. Anyway, that's that. If you like that, leave a like and subscribe and leave your thoughts and all that stuff. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.